Hey, I'm NeverLag, and I am contractually obligated to tell you about every game I played in June, so let's do it. A quick note before we truly get down and dirty. June was the Steam Next Fest, and I played a ton of really good demos I'm not going to talk about here, so if you're interested in any of that, check out the two videos I did earlier in the month. There's some really good games to add to the wish list. But with that out of the way, what better place to start than with the murder of Destiny? Oh, I laugh to keep from crying, but in all seriousness, Destiny is one of my all-time favorite games, so gather around the campfire as I tell you a little bit about my life story. Back in the olden days of 2014, I bought myself a Destiny-themed PS4, because first of all, it looked really sick. I think it's still one of the coolest special editions Sony has ever made. And second of all, I just needed a PS4. No other reason. I really had no idea what Destiny was whatsoever. But of course, the game came with the bundle, so I checked it out because I'm a reasonable man. And this was probably around the time of the Crota's End raid expansion. And I was immediately hooked. As someone who grew up with World of Warcraft, the idea that an MMO could be on a console and that an FPS space opera could have 6-player raids filled with immersive set pieces and complex, difficult boss fights was just so freaking exciting. This is nerdy stuff, but I will literally never forget the first time I was the sword bearer for the Crota encounter. The sheer exhilaration of stepping up to swing that sword at Crota as your entire team launches 5 simultaneous Gallarhorn rockets to bring down his shield might just be unmatched as the greatest moment I've ever experienced in a video game. Needless to say, Destiny became my daily game for the next several years, and I was there climbing the stupid tree at the OG tower for no real reason. I was there for the Reef and the Prison of Elders, the addition of Gambit, every single one of the Destiny 1 raids, especially King's Fall, where me and my stupid friends made it all the way to Golgoroth completely blind. And I even remember the first time I played Trials of Osiris. I kid you not, I will tell my grandchildren this. Me and my random LFG team went undefeated and made it to the lighthouse before any of us even knew that that was a thing. The stuff of legends. To this day, my brother and I still hop onto Destiny 1 every year or two just to play some 1v1 PvP and see who can no-land beyond the other to death the most. If you don't play Destiny, then I apologize. Not a lot of that is going to make any sense, but Destiny always seemed to me that it was meant to be like World of Warcraft, a never-ending, ever-growing universe of content. So when Destiny 2 was announced, it never made sense to me. But either way, I was addicted, so of course I stuck with it, and I even had some really great times with Destiny 2, especially in the earlier days with the Leviathan raid. What really marked the turning point for me with Destiny was the transition to the Season Pass model. That was the point where Destiny truly and fundamentally changed into something I didn't like, and as a result, it stopped being a game that I kept up with outside of dabbling with major expansions. Alright, thank you for listening to my life story, but now we fast forward to June 9th where Destiny saw its final content update. Myself and hundreds of thousands of lapsed players downloaded all 100 plus gigs of the game in solidarity, to send a message, to celebrate, or maybe just to mourn the death of a game that meant so much to so many for so long. Whatever the reason, there was definitely a general sentiment behind this server crash from the Destiny community that they wanted to send Sony a message that they were making a mistake by shutting Destiny down. There was even a petition for Destiny 3 that gained over 400,000 signatures. The problem, though, with all of this is that, in my opinion, Destiny died a long time ago. It died thousands of little deaths over the course of the past decade. Part of it died in the transition from Destiny to Destiny 2. Part of it died with the addition of Eververse and all of the complications that came with that. As I mentioned at the beginning, a large part of Destiny died with the transition to seasonal content and season passes. It died a little when shaders became consumables. It died when they introduced transmog, a much requested basic quality of life feature in most games. But here, it was the most predatory and insufferable version of transmog we've ever seen in a video game. It died when they removed old content people paid for. It died when they left Gambit to rot, and especially when they stopped servicing the PvP side of the player base for years, assumedly in favor of Marathon. It died a little bit when they tried to rebrand and convince everyone that Destiny was somehow free to play, despite the fact that it just wasn't. If anything, it was more expensive than ever as they continued to piecemeal and segment the content in a way that nickeled and dimed the player base and made it truly frustrating to own all of what Destiny had to offer. It definitely died when they did all of this with absolutely zero effort to onboard new players, either through streamlining the game or by making old content and expansions free with the purchase of the current one. Again, a basic business practice that even World of Warcraft recognizes is necessary for a healthy MMO. Seriously, to this day, if you are playing Destiny, you are likely to run into a content block requiring you to own a season from 3 years ago, and you better be ready to pay full price for it or pray that there is a sale going on. It's insane. And this is the Bungie Sony purchased for $3.6 billion, thinking they were live service gurus. Make it make sense. Destiny died with this acquisition as leadership fully checked out and left Destiny to coast into an iceberg as they sailed away with their golden parachutes of millions and millions of dollars. Following that purchase, Destiny died when it launched a critically acclaimed finale expansion to the Light and Darkness saga called The Final Shape, and had absolutely no communication, and as it turns out, no plans for where the franchise would go next. And through all of this, Destiny quietly died as talent and passionate people who made Destiny what it was no doubt left the studio due to the decision-making and direction of leadership from the top. So, Destiny didn't die on June 9th, and was it Sony's fault? Maybe, some small percentage, but the blame lies at the leadership of Bungie. Leadership that continuously made anti-consumer, greedy, short-sighted decisions, which, what else is new, I guess? Welcome to the world. But they burned any goodwill the franchise once had and left the IP and studio to rot from the inside as we all just begged them to make the game we wanted. The point is, the time to save Destiny was a long time ago. Sony is now left holding the bag with the shell of a studio, no Destiny 3, and a Destiny 2 so bogged down by the layers and layers of systems and seasons and loot and conflicting paths of progression mixed with an incomprehensible UI that even someone like myself, a longtime fan who wants to come back, would need them to honestly strip Destiny down to the nubs and studs and get back to basics. Strikes, PvP maps, raids, yearly expansions, no Eververse, no season pass, and it's never gonna happen. And all of it is just sad. It's just sad. Why did we need to get here? Why does greed ruin everything? And why are the people in control always the worst? So there you have it. That was my speech. I hope it was a good speech. I've said my piece. Wasn't that fun? And let's move on. I do want to speak momentarily on the actual update itself because it is good. It's unanimously being praised as the best non-expansion update the game has ever seen. People are having a blast with Destiny again. FOMO is gone. There's no rush. There is tons and tons of content, especially for returning players. And yeah, I enjoyed hopping back into Destiny after all this time. There is nothing like booting into a strike or a control match with the homies. It just fits like a glove. It feels like you never left. And part of me just wanted to fully sink back into Destiny for the year and experience all of the content I've missed over the past few years since the Final Shape with the new raids and the dungeons and the sparrow racing. But for me, at the end of the day, even a great update can't fix all of the issues I still have with the game that I've already mentioned. So I'm a simple man. I just want strikes, I want PvP, I want raids, and I just don't have the time or mental capacity to learn how to play Destiny the way it wants to be played in its current state anymore. Irregardless, Destiny will always be one of my all-time favorite games. It will always have a special place in my heart, and I suppose that it was just sad to fully get closure this month on something that happened a long time ago. All right, 9 minutes in, and what do you say we keep the fun rolling, keep the negativity flowing, and get a little controversial, maybe even a little spicy, because the next game I played in June was 007 First Light, and I did not like it. Honestly, though, I do feel like I'm taking crazy pills with this one because you liked First Light, your mom liked First Light, the whole industry loved First Light. It's a critical and commercial success. All of the talking heads gave it 9 out of 10, and I just don't get it. So I'll give you my take as quickly as I can in order to not waste a ton of time complaining about a game that everyone loves, though that is a specialty of mine. For starters, though, let me compliment the game as it does have some redeeming factors for sure. The story and characters are actually great. This was a great Bond story, and I think would have made for an even better Bond movie. So kudos to IO Interactive with the story. Alright, that's enough complimenting. Gameplay is king, and I found the moment-to-moment gameplay here very formulaic and uninteresting. The scenarios and detective work felt reductive and very hand-holdy, which surprised me compared to everything I've heard about the Hitman franchise. This was just so watered down and constantly felt like the illusion of choice. A microcosm of this is the smartwatch that you have that really facilitates all of your interactivity with the world, and it was just so basic and not compelling to me from a gameplay standpoint. The exploration was often frustrating rather than rewarding, as I would wander into places the game didn't want me to find yet, which inevitably led me to just follow the objective markers instead and mainline the game. There were also many antiquated level design concepts that screamed mid-2000s, like the situation here where the game literally took away my ability to crouch because it wanted me to take a different path, because obviously this single rope is impassable. There's no way that James freaking Bond could get to the other side of this doorframe without triggering the trap. And are any of these things deal breakers by themselves? No, of course not. But when they all add up and stack on top of each other, it's the little things like this that really drive me nuts in a modern game. To top it all off, this game was just unfinished from a technical standpoint, and I'm really surprised to not see more people calling it out for that, though I guess everyone just is probably really used to that in modern AAA gaming, unfortunately. But it did run at a solid 60 on PS5 Pro, but the resolution, textures, character models, and pop-in were all distractingly bad at times, and to me, just unacceptable from a high-budget modern release. Seriously, go look at a comparison video of First Light and Uncharted 4, a game that literally came out a decade ago, mind you, and tell me which one looks better overall. All of that said, I can enjoy a game that has some of the issues I've listed here, but the biggest problem for me was just that I didn't find this game fun to play. I'm getting better at recognizing that early and being able to put a game down when I realize it just isn't for me. But unfortunately here I pressed on because I did enjoy the story. I wanted to see the locations and the set pieces and where everything went. And I did genuinely think that at some point it would click and I would understand why everyone thinks this game is a 9 or a 10 out of 10, but it just didn't happen. Instead, this game was a slog to play through from start to finish for me, which is really unfortunate because I was excited about this game. I really like the Bond IP, and I don't know. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I still think it's a decent game. I think it's about a 7 out of 10, just not a 7 out of 10 that is for me, so there you have it. I guess that's all I have to say about 007 First Light. Let me know, am I the only one out there who feels this way? Clearly I'm in the minority, so let me know all the ways I'm wrong. Or you know what, stand by me in the comments section. There must be dozens of us. Moving on, I promise June wasn't all bad. Next, I have a couple of quick hitters, starting with the demo for Onimusha Way of the Sword. This is a game that I have no connection to, never played the original, and I don't know, there was this demo. I thought, let's check it out. Let's see what this game is all about. And there are some demos where you're forcing yourself to find the fun, and there are other demos where you play an hour, the demo ends, and you just want to keep going. And this was the latter. I came out of this demo really impressed. It looks great. It runs great. The gameplay is fun. It has a lot of different mechanics and ways you need to respond to attacks that enemies do that make the combat feel layered and engaging. And yeah, Onimusha. Out of nowhere, this is officially a game I have on my radar for the second half of the year. Gori, Cuddly Carnage is a backlog game of mine that is an outlandish skating game with a neon color palette and a Borderlands-esque art style where you're a cat that zooms around on a sentient, talkative hoverboard murdering hordes and hordes of unicorn zombies, obviously. It has a sort of obnoxious charm to it, though I didn't finish it, and I'm not sure I see myself going back to it, as the charm did wear off for me after a few hours personally. But I don't know. If you like what you're seeing here, it definitely wasn't a bad game by any means, and maybe I'll go back to it. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe. Next, to answer the burning question you all have, did I play Woo-Wah? Yeah, obviously. I still have a problem. But this month was the 3.4 update, which brought with it the much anticipated Cyberpunk collaboration and added Lucy and Rebecca to the roster of playable characters. It was a good time. Really high quality collab, well done story, cool new locations like a little snippet of Night City and the moon, great music as always, and I had a blast with it. But honestly, I'm looking forward to getting back to more of the original content with the next major expansion or update coming very soon with 3.5 that is kind of giving me some Tears of the Kingdom vibes. Anyways, let's wrap this up. To finish the month of June, I thankfully was able to end on a very good note with a small indie game that served as a perfect reminder that no matter how bad gaming gets, games are good, because I played Skate Story. Skate Story is special. I actually started this game around the same time as Cuddly Carnage, and it very quickly became clear that one of these is not like the other, because I'm sorry, Cuddly Carnage, I don't mean to throw so much shade, but Skate Story is an indie masterpiece. It's a hidden gem, and if you missed it, but you appreciate things that are good, you should play it. Skate Story is, you guessed it, the story of you, the glass skater, trying to skate through the 7 layers of hell or afterlife with the sole purpose of devouring all of the moons because they look delicious, obviously. It's as nonsensical and ephemeral as it sounds. The entire game, from a visual presentation to music to characters and story, all feel like you're having a wild dream that you're going to forget the moment you wake up. The art style is minimal but highly unique in a way that perfectly services the dreamlike vibes. The gameplay is much more momentum based and even wonky in a way that captures the messy nature of skateboarding, where something like Tony Hawk is more arcade-like. The skateboard here can be hard to control or direct, but never in a way that feels bad to play, just in a way that makes it all the more satisfying when your skill ceiling grows and you're able to chain together that sick trick into a grind, into a revert without crashing. Everything is great here, but the absolute peak aspect of this game is the music. When you hit some of these more linear skate session sections and the ethereal lo-fi beat drops, that is the moment you realize this isn't just a cool game, this is an experience. This will go down as one of the all-time greats when it comes to video game soundtracks, in my opinion. But yeah, other than that, Skate Story is weird. There's a narrator, rabbits, frogs, and skeletons, a quest to find more milk, do the devil's laundry, find a permit to sleep so Coney won't give you a ticket, landing sick tricks, fighting bosses, shattering into 1,000 pieces over and over, and doing it all to some of the most dope music ever put into a video game. It all comes together to make Skate Story one of the great examples of what a video game can be as an experience when someone's vision for visuals and gameplay and music all come together to become something greater than the sum of their parts. If that did not convince you, then I don't know what will, but Skate Story is a game that's going to stick with me. Perhaps even disrupt my list of all-time favorite games, especially when it comes to indies, and I see myself needing to replay this someday, just to catch the vibes and eat some moons. And that, folks, was every game I played in June. If you're a sicko and you enjoyed my soapbox Destiny rant and critical takes on beloved games, then thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Maybe like the video, subscribe to the channel, check out those Steam Next Fest demo videos I did, and I will catch you in the next one. I sure hope July doesn't have any seismically, depressingly, catastrophic, industry-shaking video game news in store. That would suck.